is Plainclothes Senior Constable Benjamin Powell of Regional Investigations Division, Alice Springs. This is a recorded statutory declaration of witness Adam
Eberl, yep.
And can you spell your surname?
Yep, Eberl.
And this interview is being conducted at 3:05 AM on Sunday, the 10th of November 2019. You've already stated your full name. Can you please state your date of birth?
Yep, 9th to 4:30.
And what is your rank?
Constable first class.
And your position with the Northern Territory Police?
I have a few different positions, but I'm with usually with the community youth engagement team. So I deal with the youth in town. I'm also a firearms instructor and also part of an IRT.
And what's IRT?
Yeah, immediate response team. So like anything where they need more of a tactical approach, or people do a search and rescue, that sort of stuff.
So I wish to talk to you today about an incident that you might have information about. It is important that you tell me the truth. If you can repeat the following after me, please. I, Adam Eberl.
I, Adam Eberl.
Solemnly and sincerely declare the following to be true.
Solemnly and sincerely declare the following to be true.
So, as we've had a brief discussion before, we're here to talk about an incident which has occurred yesterday being Saturday, the 9th of November 2019 in Yuendamu community. I'd ask you to please tell me about that incident from the start.
Alright mate, I'll do my best. Obviously it's 3 o'clock in the morning, so I'm a little bit fatigued. It's been a long day, but okay. I was at home today about 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon, so it would have been the 9th, Saturday the 9th. I got a call if I wanted to attend for IRT, immediate response team deployment to Yuendamu, and that's all I got. They were told I might be out there for a couple of days, so just bring whatever for a couple of days. I'm like, no worries. So got ready and then raced off to the station. Were at the station there. Had a little bit of a briefing. Saw a little bit of footage about this incident happened a few days ago, where this Arnold Walker apparently breached his parole. A couple of members from here had attended, tried to arrest him, where he picked up an axe and ran at the members before escaping. So we knew that obviously he would try and get away any means possible, whether he grabbed a weapon or whatever. So no worries. So we grabbed our stuff. We deployed for Yuendamu community. It would have been maybe just before 4 o'clock we left Alice Springs. We got to Yuendamu approximately 6:30 in the evening. We had a bit of a briefing here with the local members, just about what house the incident happened, where he usually resides, anywhere else that we might find him as well. So we left here about 7 PM and headed out to I think it was house 577. Don't quote me on that, but that's just what I can recall. So went there and I was in a vehicle with Tony Hawkins, and we drove around to the back of the premises just to create like a bit of a cordon around the premises. I believe Zach Rolfe and James Kirstenfeld went to the front, and Adam Donaldson, the dog handler, he come around to the side of the house. So when we arrived at the back of this place, there was a fellow at the back who was sort of raking the dirt, sort of cleaning up his yard a bit, and one of the other colleagues approached him and asked if he knew where Arnold Walker was and if anyone was in the house, and he said, he's not here, there's no one else in the house. But then my colleague had mentioned, because I was in clear audible sort of distance, I could hear what he was saying. He said, I can see someone run across, there's someone else in the house, don't lie to us mate. Anyway, so James Gerstenfeld and Zach, they went into the house to search and just found a young 12-year-old kid there. So the house was clear, and then the bloke at the back mentioned that he would be at this potentially across the other side of the oval, like to this other house. So me and Tony jumped in our vehicle, and we just followed the others because they knew where this house was because they had a map in the car. So then we drove there, and it was either a blue house or a red house, and that was just on the other side of the oval, not far from I think where they had the funeral gathering, which is near the store. So alright, so James and Zach went to the blue house initially, and I went to the red house, and Tony walked around to the back just in case someone was going to run over the back of the place. So I was speaking to a couple out the front. Do you know, is there anyone else in the house? Do you know who this Farmer Walker's here? And they're like, well, I don't know if anyone's in the house because we're not the owners there over there at that funeral thing. Oh, okay. So I waited for one of my other colleagues, Zach, to come over, and I said, and I had a look in the house, and I seen someone go to the back and shut the door. So I said, I knew someone was in the house. Didn't know who it was. So I said, oh, someone else in the house, mate. You want to come in with me? We'll search it. And he goes, yeah, no worries. So me and Zach went into the house, and as I walked in, this fellow was it's sort of like a room, and then there's another doorway that goes into another room at the back. And he was sort of in that sort of doorway there. Young fella had a hat on and that sort of stuff, and he started walking over towards the door, the front door there, and I said, hey mate, what's your name? And he just tried to keep walking as if he was just going to try and run out the door. And I just sort of stopped him and said, hey mate, hey, what's your name? You know, and he sort of didn't really respond, and then Zach sort of said, come over here mate, against the wall, I just want to have a look at a photo and just to check. You're not in any trouble or anything at this point, mate. We just want to see who you are. So Zach, the door was sort of over there. The fellow was leaning against the wall, and Zach was here, and I was sort of here. And Zach held the phone up next to him and said, "Oh yeah, no worries, mate." And I can't remember what he said his name was, but it wasn't Arnold Walker. And so Zach goes, "No worries, mate." Put his phone in his pocket. He goes, "Put your hands behind your back," and that's when the guy started to struggle. So we grabbed him, and then he started to really kick off. So distraction strike to the side of his face. So that would have been his left side. I think I hit him here, just so he would relinquish, stop fighting, so I'd get his arm. But then he sort of come out from the wall at this stage, and Zach looked like he had lost his arm, and so the guy sort of started slipping there, sort of back this way. So then I've sort of come around and then tried to grab him from behind, because that way he can't fight from behind, because you're not designed to fight backwards. And at this stage, I've heard a couple of loud bangs, like boom, boom, like that's what. And I was like, bloody hell, like has my gun gone off or what? Because it sounded really close. And at this time, I could see because as I had him, I could see over his right shoulder, and I could see he had like a little. I didn't know what it was at the time, but I thought it was maybe just a sharp stick hanging out of his right hand. And then I sort of pulled him to the ground, and then sort of like rolled him over, and then I've realised I could see there was some blood there, and he's like, "Drop the scissors, let the scissors go," and because he was still hanging on some scissors, so I've basically pried the scissors out of his hands, and then we've handcuffed him to the rear, and I've realised he'd been shot. Because prior to that, I didn't know what was going on, whether someone had shot from outside or whether it was a beanbag shotgun going off like that. I wasn't too sure because I couldn't see. And then we're like, and then I could hear yelling and stuff going on outside. And I said, "Look," and then they go, "Nah, let's get him out of here. We've got to leave, because there was a lot of people driving to that location. So straight away he was handcuffed, and we picked him up, started walking out the yard. Then a dog come and attacked me, so then I've kicked that off and kept going to the back of the our cage and put him in the cage, and then we've got him to the back of the cage with him so we could try and do the first aid. Then we got locked in the cage and we started driving off to the police station. At that time, we've taken the cuffs off and then taken his shirt off in the back so we could see his wounds, and so we could assess what sort of first aid we need to apply. I could see on his back there was a couple of wound holes, and on the front of his chest, I can't remember which side there was. I think it was where the entry wound was, because it was sort of coming out the back. Right, so we knew we had obviously some chest injuries, but didn't really know the extent. So then we've driven at speed and got back to the station compound. At this stage we've opened the back of the cage, and then we've pulled him out, and we've just taken his pants off out there as well, so we could get a full, he still had underpants on. And then so we could get a full scale look at what's going on. Then we could see that a couple of the fellas, they'll come over and they got a bit of the first aid kit just on the ground out there in the car park. And then they've got a bit of plastic and put it on the front and the back, and then you try to use some bandages to try and keep the plastic on. Because Jimmy and that, I think he's been in the army, I think he's obviously knows a bit more first aid from his army days. So obviously he was saying it was a lung puncture, so potentially both lungs had been punctured. So we were just basically trying to let the lungs breathe so get the blood out, you know what I mean? So alright, so that's so we decided from there that I think someone went inside, I don't know who it was, but someone came out and said, we can put him in the cell inside rather than leave him out here on the ground. So we've got a blanket and put him on the blanket, and then we've carried him into the cell inside, and then we've monitored his vital signs and tried to make him comfortable. Obviously someone's had mentioned they've contacted and tried to get first aid and get the ambulance here, so that I think someone was coming from Ulumu community, but they were going to be a little while. So yeah, we got the defib there on standby and stuff like that, and then just monitoring him, monitoring his vital signs, his pulse. He was on the ground there. He wouldn't listen to us. He was trying to get comfortable. He was trying to lie this way, lie that way. He was mentioning, save me, you know. He was trying to get us to hold his hand, so we're comforting him. We're doing our best to do that. So we monitored that, and we've had the bandage come off from his moving around, and so we've tried to replace it a few times. But because he wasn't lying still, it wasn't going to hold, and there's a lot of blood everywhere on the floor. So, and then from that point, we kept monitoring him, and then someone's called Triple O, and then James had mentioned he had like a hemothorax, but it was an internal one where he said that obviously the blood was you could see on his stomach was starting to bloat a little bit, so obviously it was the pressure on the outside of the lungs was pushing the lungs, so it was obviously he was getting less and less oxygen. So then he was sort of going down, you could sort of see he was sort of becoming less and less responsive, trying to take more gasps of air to get some more air. So obviously it was less sort of oxygen space for him to gasp in, but it was shallow breaths. We kept talking to him, trying to keep him alert, trying to get him to stay on one sort of side sort of thing initially, and then after a bit we sort of tried to sit him up on a mattress to get him comfortable, sort of try and let the blood drain out and stuff like that, but he kept saying, no, I want to lie down on the floor. He was saying he wanted to lie up on one of the beds up there, but we said, no, you need to stay on the floor. So it was all happening, a lot was happening in that time. And then as he sort of deteriorated, we whacked the defib on, but there was so much blood, it didn't stick really well. And then we were doing compressions with, I think someone was on the phone to, it must be St John's, 000. And they were sort of helping give advice and stuff like that. And they were doing compressions, and I was just trying to help out, trying to stick on the pads that weren't sticking on, because it said, the defib kept saying, check the pads and that sort of stuff. So we're trying to like stick it on, and then we searched for the other vehicles to try and see if there's any other defibs, to see if we can get some new pads, but there was no other defibrillator, and that was the only pads that was in there. So we just kept doing compressions and stuff like that. And then I was sort of running around outside, and then coming in. Can't remember what I was doing. I think I tried to get a cloth, a cold cloth at one stage, a wet cloth when he was still alert. Just going back a little bit because I said that really, yeah. But I'm just trying to, it's just coming to me as I'm sort of speaking.
I just remember just.
Yeah. And then at one stage I popped out, and then I'd come in, and then they had stopped. So they must have been told to stop from someone on St John's or something like that. So yeah, so that's basically what happened to that point. Then I think I don't know the time frame between when that happened. No, hang on. Yeah, so afterwards I went and assessed Ralphie, because he said he think got grazed in the shoulder, on his left shoulder. He said that, yeah, because he mentioned that the bloke was trying to stab us when we were handcuffing him in the house originally. Because I didn't see it initially, because it was obviously his right hand, I was on his left. This is obviously going back, because I'm just remembering, because that's why I assessed his shoulder, because he said he thought he got a graze. So I took I could see a little rip on his work shirt, on his shoulder. So then I pulled his shirt off, and then he had another undershirt, and that had a hole in it. It looked like there was a little bit of discolouring in his shirt, like there was a little bit of blood. So then I pulled that away further, and there was a puncture wound there from the scissors that he was holding. So I think Tony came in, and he obviously got his body worn footage of the injury. Yep. And then I think by this stage the two nurses from the Uluru community arrived, and they did an assessment on the deceased, Arnold Walker, and then they looked at Rolfie and patched him up. And then some members were coming from Alice Springs to assist. So we jumped in, we organised what we were doing. We jumped in, they told the community that we were taking the body or something like that to we were getting more medical staff or something. So they understood that that's what we were doing. So they were being calm, because I was told something like that, this is all hearsay because I wasn't there when it was told, but I was mentioned that they told the community that to stay calm, because if you're angry the blame won't land. So they were sort of mingling out the front, but they weren't doing anything as such. So we decided we'd take 2 police cars and the medical wagon, the ambulance, and the 2 ladies jumped in that, and then we drove to the airstrip to get the other members, chucked them in the car. I think it was maybe 7 or 8 members from Alice Springs camp, and then we headed back through the community. When we left the police station to go to the airport, there was probably about 100 people at the front of the police station. So we're like, all right. When we come back, all those people had moved into the middle of the community, but where we had to drive through, and you could see a lot of the community members picking up rocks, and then they started pelting the car, and one went through the front passenger window, just missing the colleague's face, and it hit Felix Alafeo was driving, hit him in the arm. I think King's son was in the front passenger seat. And then when we got back to the station, I mentioned on the radio, hey, we've been pelted by rocks, windows just been smashed. Jumped into there, and then could see that the other vehicles had been smashed as well. And one of the nurses was walking back to the inside the station, and she was bleeding from the head where she'd been struck by a rock to the head. So then we sort of came inside, and then she was getting attended to. And then we sort of had a bit of a plan about trying to secure the station. I think that's when Terry sort of took charge of the forward commander then. And then he mentioned, we'll just do a couple of patrols out there just to make sure no one's jumping the fences, and then TRG and that were on their way.
Alright, so just a couple of things I want to make sure we cover off on as part of your statement. At the time of this, were you issued a police body-worn video camera?
Yes.
And was that activated?
Yes.
Okay.
Before we got out of the car, we activated it.
Yeah. And when was the recording finalised?
Not for ages. When I had a tussle on the ground initially wrestling, my body worn ended up on the ground. I've picked it up on the way out and tried to attach it to me somewhere. So it might have been down here or something. I kept it activated. We've brought him back here. We started doing, we helped him in the cell. I stuck my body worn on the door so I could sit there and record everything that we're doing, and kept it going until at some stage there I pulled it off and attached it to me, but then I was walking around, and then after he sort of had died then, they said obviously got told to stop doing their resus or whatever, because I wasn't there, I was doing something running in, I can't remember what I was doing. That's when I sort of turned it off after the incident had sort of calmed down a bit. Yeah.
So just wanted to clarify with the scissors, can you describe them to me?
Yep, they were like your scissors, approximately maybe 10 centimeters. They're probably the same sort of scissors you might find in a first aid kit, they're not like fully sharp, pointy ones, but they're a little bit blunter, using for they look like the same sort of one, like stainless steel sort of thing.
And what about their handle?
They're just like they're like those round stainless steel ones. Yeah.
And was that recovered at all?
No. Once I pried it out of his hands, handcuffed him, then we basically get out of there because it was unsafe. Yeah.
In regards to getting into the rear of the police vehicle and being locked in the cage.
Yep.
So that was you, Mr. Walker, who else was in the cage?
And Rolf.
And who was driving the vehicle?
Probably, can't recall, but I think I threw the keys to Tony Hawkins. Yep.
After all of this occurred, were any items seized by you, or did you establish any of the crime scenes?
No, they weren't seized by me. I think Tony took Rolfie's shirt and exhibited that or put it in an exhibit bag. And I think his weapon was taken off him.
But you weren't responsible for anything, and crime scenes, were you responsible for any of them?
No, I didn't do that. That was one of the other Udamu, not the sergeant, but the other sent out hand, I think. re-entered the crime scene once it was established at the body. It was me and Felix Alafeo. We put him into a body bag, but it's on a crime scene log that was established. Yeah.
And besides this statement you're giving me now, have you had any conversations with any person about what has occurred in regards to providing a complete version of events to them?
I had a bit of a chat to one of the other members, but it was more for my own sanity, a bit of a debrief about my own thoughts and what I was doing and that sort of stuff, because I only had one person view. Yeah.
So, you say, I don't want to put words in your mouth, was that more of a,
He mentioned what he's seen, and I was saying, oh, well, I didn't even see that, because he was there too.
how much member was that?
Tony.
Do you remember what time that was, approximately?
It was after we retrieved the other members from Alice Springs from the plane. We were doing a coroner walk around. Yep.
Alright, so Adam, I just asked, is all of what you've told me today the truth?
Yep, best of my knowledge. Yep.
And you understand it's an offence to make a statutory declaration that is false in any material?
Yep, of course.
And can you please tell me where we're making this recording today?
At Unimu Police Station in one of the interview rooms. I'm not sure what number.
And do you know today's date?
Yep, it should be the 10th. Looking at my watch of November 2019.